If you've been on Twitter or Reddit the last few days or the weekend, you probably already know what this video is about. Pokemon Company has allowed AI to enter their yearly contest, and everybody is losing their minds. A lot of artists are rightfully angry. And not only were they allowed to enter the contest, they were also accepted to the final 300 people on Reddit, and they used AI scanners to see if they used AI scanners that show how much percent something was done by AI or by a real human. And some of the pieces were 99% AI, and some of these were actually chosen over real human artists. I'm not going to sit here and argue about all the AI issues, and because I could go all day. People have their opinions, and I'm not going to sit here and call the Pokemon Company evil. If they decide in the future to print AI Pokemon cards, right now, with the way things are, they're currently within their rights to do that if they want. As bad as that looks on them, it's their prerogative. It's their company. They can do that if they want. No matter what their customers or the artists working for them think about that, I mean, that's up to them. It's their company, right? The issue here is, and what the video is about, is the contest specifically, because the rules were a little iffy about whether a person can or cannot use AI. When I went over their contest rules back in December to prepare for my own submission, I remember reading certain rules that aren't there now when I went back to check the rules. I remember reading something about not creating derivative artworks of other people's stuff, and that's not there anymore. Now, when I went back to look at the rules, the only real stipulation I found potentially prohibit AI works was this. It says we cannot accept, I'm just looking at my notes, we cannot accept submissions made by more than one person. But yeah, technically AI is not a person. So that's a little gray area. But there is a second half to this, and it says the applicant must be the sole creator of the illustration. So why is this specification important? Well, by their own wording, AI itself should technically not, so by their own choice of wording in this contest rules, technically the AI should be getting the prize money, right? I mean, technically outside of the prompt that the person gave, they had no control over what the program was going to spit out. I've played around with different AI programs just for fun. I can put in the same prompt and get 50 different looking results I'll get a different result every single time. The information is coming from somewhere to generate that picture, and usually the AI is taking other artists' works and they're spitting out their own artwork using a combination or a Frankenstein monster of other people's works, or taking just a specific artist's work and creating what they think is that artist's work. Because like nothing that an AI does is original. I mean, everything is down to the color, the design, the lighting, the line work, for example. None of it is its own original ideas. It's taken from some other artist or someone somewhere that did something online. That's where it's taken from. So by that logic, any sort of AI artwork is done by multiple artists, technically, right? Because it's an amalgamation, like a Frankenstein monster. So technically it's done by more than one artist. So by Pokemon's own contest rules, these works should not qualify. That's how I see it anyways. So no matter how good your prompt is, the AI is still scouring the internet and using other artists' work to create what I call their Frankenstein monster. I know Frankenstein was not the monster, it was the doctor, but their Frankenstein's monster of this artwork. Another way of thinking of this is if it was a piece of written work and handed for like a school project, that would be considered plagiarism, right? So why would this not be the case, at least in a competition setting where people are being awarded some sort of monetary gain or some sort of prize? Again, I want to reiterate, the Pokemon Company may not see it that way. And if it was just a matter of them using the AI to make artwork for their cards, their prerogative, and at this moment in time, when this video is out, when I'm making this video, they are well within their legal rights to do so. The problem here for me is that it was a contest where artists poured hours and hours of their time into these works to submit, and then they were basically beat out by works that were, in essence, like I said, stolen. So listen, look, okay, I get it. There was over, what, 10,000 submissions. I think they had like 10 judges, some art directors, some famous artists were part of it too, that were part of the Pokemon company. I'm not going to sit here and say, well, how did you not know that they were AI, right? Like, it's not easy. AI is getting better and better every single day, and this stuff's getting harder and harder to realize what's real, what's not, and some things are bound to slip through the cracks. And honestly, maybe this was maybe this was just an honest mistake by the Pokemon company. Maybe they just really badly screwed up. Because like they even somebody mentioned, I was reading posts and somebody mentioned that they put through like more than 3 submissions by a single artist. And the rules were that you can only put up to 3 submissions from one person. So, I mean, maybe wasn't somebody there checking everything, making sure everything was going well. Honestly, personally, I want to believe that this was all just one big mistake by the Pokemon company, and I hope that they'll make things right in some capacity. That being said, you're a billion-dollar company. How can you not run these submissions through some sort of checker? I mean, people on Reddit, it took them like 10 minutes to figure out that some of these works were AI and not real. So why do these people have to figure out that some of the works that were being submitted were AI when you're the one running the contest? You know what I mean? Why do they have to do the dirty work for you? In that case, that means you really didn't. It feels like they just didn't care. It feels like they knew or saw what it was and just didn't care, because they had the capacity to figure it out, and they just said, nah, we don't need to check it if they're AI or real. It's fine. Like I said, I submitted work myself for the contest. I didn't think my stuff is good enough to even make it to the next round. It didn't, and I honestly didn't think it would. But there are artists out there who were good enough to make it to the final, and I feel like some of those people were passed up for stuff that's not real, done by real artists. And that is a travesty. As an artist myself, it just feels disheartening to see something like this happen and still have yet to hear the Pokemon company put out a statement or even say anything. It's been, since this came out, I think it's been almost a week now, and they still haven't said anything or done anything. And honestly, that's usually Pokemon's MO, is just to keep quiet and hope things blow over. That's what happened with the mainstream game. When people were ripping it apart and saying, oh, look at all these glitches in there, they just kept their mouths shut, pushed out a lackluster, I think they pushed out a like day 1 update, which kind of helped the game, but it still was very janky. And then like a month later, they released an update that didn't really help much either. And then they just pushed out their DLC like nothing ever happened. So what can Pokemon do to save face here? I've thought about like 2 different options. They can either remove the AI works that people found or that they found that is 99% done by AI, that's been proven to be done by AI, and then proceed with just the remaining 200, 250, however many is left in the contest. Or they can relook at all of the submissions and then remove the AI stuff and then pick another 300 so that the people who lost the spots can get back in. Look, like I said, AI is getting harder and harder to predict what's real and what's done by an artificial intelligence. If anyone says they can just eyeball it these days, maybe it'd have to be like crappy AI, but then they're just lying to themselves. There's a lot of people who think works of art that were actually done by a human were done by AI. So honestly, it's not my ideas are not foolproof. And like, maybe aside from banning digital submissions, I'm a digital artist, so that would suck, but aside from banning like digital submissions, you're gonna always have this kind of situation. You're always gonna have this kind of problem. But me personally, I think they should go back and relook at all of the artworks, remove the ones that are guaranteed AI, and then go ahead with another 300 finalists. That being said,
I feel like we already know what they're going to do. Here's what they're going to do. They're going to ignore all of this. They're going to pick three artists that they know are not AI from the remaining. They're going to print those cards, because imagine after all of this, they print AI artworks that people submitted. No chance. There's no chance they do that. That would be wild. People would lose their minds. This way they can avoid any kind of backlash from being the first company to print an AI card. I know Magic's had some issues with their displays and stuff, but they haven't printed a card yet, I don't think. Maybe they have. I don't know. But they want to avoid that. That's for sure, at least right now. And that's what they'll do. They'll just ignore everything and take 3 other finalists that are real human artists, print their cards, and just ignore everything. So what did we learn today? What are we going to get out of all this? Well, we know that the Pokemon Company is going to announce their next mainstream game, or their next thing, their next set, some big set. I think September, there's a huge set coming out. And then we'll forget all about it. It's going to get brushed under the rug and it won't matter. And then next year, they'll either announce a section for just AI work, which would be interesting, or maybe ban it, but that would be very hard to do, I think. Especially in a year, I think AI is going to be like exponentially even better than now in just a year. And they will do as minimal effort to fix things. And again, fans will defend them. And once they fix something very minimal, people will say, see, look, it's a step in the right direction. So thanks for watching today, guys. If you managed to get to this point in the video, this is the very end. So I thank you for being here, for getting through it all. If you can, make sure to hit that like button if you enjoyed the video. It helps perpetuate it out into the YouTube and Google world. And if you feel so inclined, if you're new to the channel, there's a little subscribe button there. Thanks again for watching today, and I will see you guys on the next episode of Glimmer.